Well, hello, baseball fans, and welcome to this edition of the Paul Kino Lamar Viking Baseball Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, head Viking baseball coach Paul Kino. Coach, how are you this evening?
And how are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Sunday evening, we're kind of back on the track schedule when we like to do these things and
Yep.
get them posted Sunday night, early Monday morning. So it's a beautiful weekend.
Oh, it was a great weekend. I mean, weather was fantastic.
Sure enough. Well, it's been a couple of weeks. Let's recap just a little bit, catch people up. Um, After y'all had that early season split with Martin, which is a good thing to win at home against Martin anytime. Then you swept Sam Houston. The next week you swept Grand Prairie. You want to catch us up a little bit on the highs and lows of all of that? And
I mean, I think we played well. The second game, Sam has a really good pitcher. He's a sophomore. You know, not overpowering, but he's probably 81, 82-ish. Does a great job. We knew about him. He beat Bowie 1-0, held Bowie,
right,
shut out Bowie. Knew he ended up getting pulled when it was 6-2 against South Grand Prairie, but talked to South's coach about him, and he's going to keep guys in the ball game. He's going to give Sam Houston a chance to win when he throws, and and we jumped up on Sam early, 3-0 that game. And then Sam fought back. I mean, I don't think they really hit the ball well, but they found some holes, and it ended up being 4-3 in the sixth, going in the top of the sixth, Sam Houston. And we took care of business. We did what we are supposed to do. We didn't panic, and we ended up winning the ball game 9-4. So a little bit of adversity is never bad. As long as it doesn't, you don't drop a game that you're not supposed to drop. And I hate saying that. I mean, no disrespect towards any program.
sure.
But you feel like you should beat Sam Houston. But that's why we play him, because anything can happen. And that young man did a good job. Like I said, they're gonna be in ball games when that young man pitches. And we got the win. Then this last week we'll play Grand Prairie twice, and again, went out there and did the things we are supposed to do. Won 8-0 and then won 4-1.
Mhm.
Would like the Friday game to be a little bit not as close, but
Right.
overall, I mean, we didn't play bad baseball. We played good baseball. They just made all the plays, and they robbed us a couple times on some balls that could have ended up opening up the game a little bit more. Um, so you give tip your hat to them and give them credit that they deserve. They did a great job. Uh, they didn't walk us. They didn't kick the ball. So, the score was a little bit lower. I think, they'd made some errors in previous games against some other opponents, and the game kind of got out of hand. They didn't do that against us. I mean, we ended up getting the victories, and so, that's what matters. You'd always like to have the bigger scores, but when it comes down to it, matters that you have one more run than the other team on the scoreboard when the game's over. So we'll take them.
Exactly. And some of these games I've been up in the booth doing the broadcast and announcing and with some of the people that are helping out with the broadcast, the scoreboard and those pitch count, those types of things. And it's interesting because we'll talk about, this is a close game. It's a good game, and Vikings come out winning all these, but it's like, I'd rather see these good close games where both teams are competing instead of it becoming a walk fest or an error
Oh yeah,
fest. And I think that's what you were getting at too.
yeah. I mean, they,
So,
they went out and they played well. They made the routine plays against us. We made the routine plays, and it was a good ball game. I mean, so as a coach, I would love it to jump out a little bit and get a little bit more, have a little relaxation room. But uh, you know, I'd rather play good games. That's all I care about. Is I think if we go out and we play a good game, that we're going to have an opportunity to win those games. Um, so that's what I concern myself with, is going out and us playing good baseball.
okay. So I watch the away games if I'm not able to be there in the stands on Game Changer. I don't pay a lot of attention to the stats so far. I'll just have to say that openly. But I've got to say, the games that I'm seeing at home and watching a little bit on Game Changer, there's not an overwhelming number of errors, it seems like, defensively for the Vikings.
No, I mean, we have a lot of kids that have started for a couple years, and
Hmm.
I think that helps. I mean, you know, they are they understand how to play varsity baseball. They know what it takes. They practice hard. They're good ball players. They they make the routine plays. That's what we stress, and that's what they do. So that makes me feel good that you said that, because those are things that we stress. Make the routine play. Don't walk people. Compete at the plate. We can get into more details of each one. But um, you know, we have I've been fortunate. I've been at Lamar. This is my 20th year as the head baseball coach, 23rd overall. But
Right.
just lucky that, we have good baseball players. And I think our coaching staff makes them better, but they come into Lamar as pretty good baseball players. So don't, I'm not going to sit here and take all the credit. They're good baseball players when they get there. We can make them a little bit better, but
Sure.
they're good players when they get there. So, they go out there and they handle their business. And, my job is to keep them, on the straight and narrow because they are kids and they can get, off task just a little bit here and there, and my job is to get them back on task and get them to understand how they need to practice and the things they need to do to be successful. And overall, we win and lose ball games because of their talents. It's not because I'm some super coach or any, anything like that. I think I'm pretty good at my job. Knock on wood. But you don't win without good players, and it's you give them all the credit.
Well, you're very humble. Coach Goodman, Coach Gill, Coach Byard are all very humble, your whole staff, because, we said this before. Anytime I come up to you or any of them after a game that y'all went, hey, great game with it, congratulations. Well, the boys did it, the young men did it, whatever. And I understand that. But again, like I said before, y'all are doing a great job because it's all those life
Thank you.
lessons as well as on the field
Thank you.
lessons.
Like you said, I am very fortunate. I get to work with three great men, and they do a fabulous job, and they make my life a lot easier. So I feel very, very lucky.
Sure. One thing that I've noticed too, and I'm not dwelling on errors a whole lot, but it seems like a fair amount if the errors that do occur, it's because those guys are trying hard. Once
Oh,
in a while, yeah, someone boots a ball, gloves a ball, but when they're throwing from third or short to first or whatever, yeah, they airmail one once in a while, but it's not from a lack of caring. They're trying, even if it's
oh
an
yeah.
awkward throw. And I think that says something. And am I painting
Oh,
too glossy of a picture?
oh no. I mean, we don't want to ever make errors, but and it's not because we're lackadaisical. You're exactly right. It's
Okay.
because you know they work their tail ends off, and errors are part of the game. They happen. Good teams don't make a lot of them, but they do happen. And we're not dealing with professional athletes. I mean, we're dealing with high school kids, and I mean, hopefully, some of them will become professional athletes because I
Yeah.
know that's a lot of their dreams are. So hopefully that works out for some of them. But at the same time, they're going to make a few more mistakes, but our kids work really hard. They're not out there trying to make mistakes. Um, you
Right.
know, um, like I tell them, I'm hard. I'm a hard coach. I like to win. I know a level we have to play at, so it's my job to get them to play at that level. So I can be a hard, but
Yeah.
the kids respond, and I try to talk to them about, hey, am I being too hard on you guys? And they're like, no. And you know, so I want them to demand from themselves, and they do, and that's the positive. They want to be good themselves. If
Hmm.
I've got to want them to be good, and I want them to be good, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, if it means more to me than it does to
Yeah.
them, we have problems. But it doesn't. They want to be good and they work hard. They just sometimes need somebody to show them how to work, you know,
Sure.
and that's what my coaching staff does and myself does. We try to show them how to work. And being kids, sometimes, I was the same way. I'm sure I was. Sometimes you're always going to not being bad or anything. Sometimes you're going to try to take the easy way out, and it may not be the best way. And I shouldn't say easy way out, but a different way, and it may not be the
Right.
best way. And it's our job to go, no, 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 no. That's not how. And but we have great kids, and I feel very, very fortunate. I've said it before, to you. I probably said it on the show, and I mean no disrespect to any other sport at Lamar High School, but I think I coach the best kids at Lamar High School.
And we've talked about this before too, and I think you have a great set of young men athletes on all three team
Mhm.
levels. And it's interesting because think again about football, you know, a couple hundred guys possibly with four different teams or five different
Mhm.
teams or more. And then, basketball has probably the fewest overall. You've got that
Mhm.
middle ground with baseball, and that's kind of got to be an interesting sort of sweet spot, if you will, of number of people and getting them to play at least at some point,
Mhm.
some more than others, of course, and some growing into those positions. But that's interesting, just kind of side
Oh
observation
yeah,
or
I
whatever.
mean, I think that obviously, I'd love to carry 20 on each team.
Hmm.
I'd love to have to come up with another freshman team, carry 80 kids. Right now, we're not quite at that. We need, our numbers need to improve. Um, I would like more kids. Um, you know, I'm worried about the game of baseball as far as, kids playing the game of baseball. It scares me because, it seems like our numbers are dropping a little bit at Lamar. We
Hmm.
don't have as many kids coming out. And talking with other coaches, it's kind of around the whole Metroplex, a lot of places. And, that part scares me. I think the game of baseball is the greatest game out there. And I hope if you're a basketball coach, you feel that way about basketball,
Yeah, yeah.
way about football. But I do. I just think baseball is the greatest sport out there. And when I see it not numbers dropping, and you talk to other coaches and it's the same thing at their school, it just worries me. We need to get kids in baseball. And what worries me is it's a very expensive sport. I mean, a glove, a really good glove is $300-400. Same thing for a bat, 400-500, $300 to $500. And I just worry about whether it's becoming too expensive and we're pricing kids out of playing baseball, and
Hmm.
that's very scary to me.
The other interesting thing about baseball, um, compared to at least some of the other sports, you have to be good at offense and defense.
Oh
You
yeah,
get your individual chance to come up and hit the ball, get on base, however, run the base and score. But you also have to be able to, going back to the errors,
oh,
field things cleanly and succeed there as well.
I think it's the most individualistic team sport out there. I really, really do. I mean, yeah, I was a varsity football coach for a long time at Lamar, and I love football. A lot of times, I mean, you're coming up. If I don't know how to describe it. Like you got to make a tackle, but
Hmm.
you got help on the inside. So if I make it where he can't cut outside of me, if I take that angle, that I know I just got to get a piece of him, and I got help coming. But like you said,
Right.
if you're standing out at shortstop and that ground ball's hit to you, there ain't no help. It's either you're going to field it and you're going to make a clean throw, the clean transfer and make a good throw, or you're not. Nobody's going to be there to help you. And so I do. That's why I
Yeah.
love it. I think it's the most individualistic team sport out there. Um, and I don't think any one person wins or loses a ball game. I think
Hmm.
there might be critical points in a game where somebody could make a mistake and you go, oh, well, he lost the game. No, that he didn't lose the game. I mean, what about the other 3 or 4 runs that scored? You know,
Exactly. Yeah.
so, but it is very individualistic, and I like it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of both sides, we've talked about some defense stuff. Coach, the offense is continuing to do well overall this season. Um,
It is one of the better hitting teams that I've had in a long time, and
mhm.
it's very nice. I mean, we do have a few spots that we need those players to pick it up a little bit. They're struggling a little bit. Some of it because they're young,
Mm,
um, or some of it's because maybe they're not young of age, but they have not as much varsity experience.
right.
But overall, our team batting average is like, I want to say last time I looked, it was 323, which is really good for a team.
For a team,
Uh,
yeah.
so I mean, we do need to have a couple places in the lineup start picking it up a little bit more though, because it puts a lot of pressure on the young men who are hitting very well. It keeps pressure on them because it's a game and you're going to go through hot and cold streaks as a hitter. You can't stay hot the whole season. I mean, hopefully I would love for you to, but
Sure.
realistically that's not going to happen. So that's what you got to have other people pick you up. So we
Okay.
need to have 9 guys hitting, and so you may go 0 for 4, but the guy behind you goes 2 for 4, and the guy in front of you goes, 3 for 4, and then they may go 0 for 4 the next night, and you're going 4 for 4. So we just need all 9 guys firing at the same time, and we've got probably I think 6 of them,
Okay.
7. We just need the other ones to kind of come start getting a little bit hotter.
Sure. Makes sense. I'm going to shift gears a little bit, Coach. This is one of these curiosity questions. I think we've talked about it once every year to the home plate conference to begin the game. The two coaches, the two umpires, you know, and sometimes we'll whisper to each other up in the booth, well, they must be talking about this or that, pointing over at the back, pointing over at the bullpens. What kind of stuff are y'all talking about?
When we're pointing at the bullpens, we're just kind of going over field rules. What with the dugouts. What's dead, what's live. Uh,
Okay.
you know, kind of got a couple at our field, kind of got a couple places by those bullpen fences where you can open them that have been washed out by sprinklers, or a ball could get underneath it.
Okay.
What's outside, everything on the outfield fence is out. So if it hits something out there, it's a home run if it's in the fair territory. Got the tarp down the right field line, so 2 feet on the ground. You can lean on the tarp, but 2 feet on the ground. Play this dugout the same way. Some could get stuck in the back, but I've never seen it, but I won't say it won't happen.
Right.
And sometimes we have casual conversation, before we get going, but you know, most of the time it's just really, the umpire's like, hey, is everybody properly equipped? Yes, sir.
Okay.
They just, it's kind of the same thing format over each time.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I just find it interesting because, again, another kind of unique thing about baseball, you don't see a conference with the coaches and the referees at football. Hey, it's 100 yards by 50, whatever, and hockey and basketball. But I think that's another thing that's kind of cool about baseball. Each field has its own dimensions, has its own quirks of its own.
Oh yeah.
So thanks for going through what that's about.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
anytime.
Yeah. All right. Well, this week coming up, it's taking on the Arlington Colts.
Oh yeah.
Big rivalry game, but big for standings and playoff
Mhm.
positions ultimately. Right now, scheduled to host them on Tuesday night, but you and I were talking about the weather forecast right before this. What do you want to say about the matchup? What do you want to say about
Oh,
weather? I'll open it up to you.
I mean, I always personally love playing Arlington High and Martin. Those, and I mean no disrespect to anybody else, but I just, those teams have predominantly been good programs like us, and
Hmm.
and it's a fun matchup. I love the competition. I love to go compete against good people, and I think they're a good team. Um, and Coach Womack does a great job with them. So I'm very excited about it. I love that challenge. Um, let's go out and let's hook it up. Let's see where we're at. Let's go out there and play the best possible game we can play, and we'll look up the scoreboard afterwards and see how it turned out. I truly believe, and I hope that Coach Womack and every other coach that coaches, that's a head coach or coaches a team, that I believe that if we go out and we play well, we'll win. That's how I believe about my
Good.
team. And we control what we can control. We've talked about that in the past.
Sure.
Can't control the weather, can't control the umpires, can't control a lot of things, but we can control ourselves. We can control how we go up and we prepare, how we go into the plate and have a attack the baseball, have a plan at the plate, how we play in the field. We can control all those things. And so that's to me what it's about. If we do that and we go out and perform the way we're capable of performing, I think we'll win. Um, not no disrespect to them, they're a good team,
Sure.
well coached. You know, so you know, I expect to win 2 baseball games. I'm sure they expect to win 2 baseball games.
Sure.
That's why we get to go play them.
Exactly right. But I like the attitude. I like that. Hey,
Mhm.
we expect to, kind of like we've talked about, batter goes up to the plate. I expect to hit this ball. Nope, I'll hold off. So,
Yeah.
um, anything to talk about related to weather and
I
or
mean,
is
this is always, April showers bring May flowers. So this is always the fun time of year, looking at it, it's supposed to start raining Monday night, possibly rain through Wednesday. But we do live in Texas. So, if you don't like the weather, just give it an hour, it'll change.
yeah,
So, we'll tarp and we'll do everything that we can do to be able to play on Tuesday. If the weather's not, if the weather doesn't work out with us, then we'll do everything we can do to play on Wednesday. And if it doesn't work out with us, we'll go to Thursday and we'll just do what we got to do,
okay,
hopefully, I'm going to put in a pitch for the next bond that we have, for turf baseball fields because it would make, and softball fields,
yep,
because it would, the bottom line is, it quits raining, 30 minutes later, you're playing, you
right,
know, where when it's grass and dirt, takes it, you got to let it dry out.
yeah. Well, I've actually thought, Coach, at times I'd be more than willing to go make my own presentation at the school board about that. And if I ever win one of those big lotteries, the first 6, 8, $9 million is going to turf all the AISD fields. But there's a lot of stuff there. So
Yeah, but
anyway,
I mean, I feel very fortunate to work in the AISD. I think it's a great school district, so I'm not trying to say anything,
oh
but
no, you're not at
would
all.
love, I would love for them to turf the fields.
Yeah,
I think, it just, you don't lose practice time, you don't lose games. As long as it's not lightning,
Yeah,
you're gonna be able to play. It's not pouring down rain and lightning. You're gonna be able to play, and
exactly.
it
All right.
just makes life a lot easier. You don't have to worry about trying to reschedule things and do all this stuff.
Sure enough. Well, let's switch over to Booster Club. Some of these things we've had some fun. The Booster Club is brought in some ceremonial first pitches for a couple of the
Mhm.
games this season. That's always fun to be able to
Oh
highlight
yeah.
someone. One time it was one of the future Vikings from North Arlington Little League and stuff, and that's always a thrill for that kid. And the other ones that went out with the players and so on. So, just any plugs you want to say for Booster Club, all the
Oh, I
special
mean,
things they
Booster
do.
Club, like I've said before, I think I have the best Booster Club in the state of Texas.
Yeah,
What they do for us, being able to so that we can afford things, new machines, new uniforms, if we want to buy a special uniform, uh, you know, AISD does a great job giving us our budgets, and but it's just the facts. It's never enough. And so without a strong Booster Club, it's hard to, do the things. I mean, baseballs, I think diamonds have went up to $99 a dozen. So you know, you're talking about $8 a baseball. I mean, it's craziness. So I mean, you got to have a lot of dozens. I think we bought 20 dozen. So I mean, that's a lot. And that's just game balls. That's not practice balls. So
right.
without a strong booster club being able to do the things, we wouldn't be able to do the things we could do. We wouldn't be able to get. We got a brand new pitching machine this year. Booster club. You know, um, a lot of things, and it's because of the booster club. So I think I have a great booster club. I think they do a great job, like you said, about having bringing in. We want the community of North Arlington excited about Lamar High School, excited about Lamar baseball, and we want them excited about coming to our school. Hey, I want those kids going. I want to be a Lamar Viking.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
looking forward to it, and I want moms and dads going. Hey, we're gonna go watch the football game on Friday nights. We're gonna go watch the volleyball game on Friday nights or Tuesday nights. My son or daughters, they're gonna go be a Lamar Viking, and let's get them excited about coming to Lamar and playing the athletics at Lamar High School or band
definitely
or
so.
whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All the different
Yeah, whatever
extracurricular and
program.
competitive things. Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, coach, anything you want to add before we close off?
No, just exciting week. It's going to be fun. Hope the weather may make it a little bit hectic, but we're going to play some baseball eventually, whether it's
Yep.
on Tuesday or not. We're going to play 2 games this week, and hopefully we're going to come out with 2 victories, and and get after them. So that's all I really got to say. Just excited, ready for it. Can't wait for it to happen. Uh, y'all, hope everybody out there is excited. Come support us. Be loud. You know, make it a
Yeah.
loud venue. Make it exciting. I think our team feeds off of it. So we need a big home crowd and a good crowd traveling over there. A big crowd traveling over there. Hey, let's outnumber Arlington High on their own field. Let's let's
Yeah.
go.
Let's do it. I love your energy. I just feel it through the Zoom connection here. You're energetic about this, coach. That's awesome.
Well, I love these kids. I love this
Yeah.
sport. I love Lamar High School, and come out and support us, and we're going to come out there and we're going to go play as hard as we can play for you guys and for our school and for ourselves and each other, and uh hopefully we play well. Just because you go out and play hard doesn't mean you always play well. So but
Sure.
like you said, I think we have a good team, and go out and play well and give ourselves an opportunity to come away with 2 victories.
Sounds great, coach. Well, I appreciate you as always making time for this. And until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with head Viking coach Paul Kino saying VFND.
Bye, y'all.